The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. My apologies for being late. I was actually in, I pressed on the wrong link to the advanced order flow webinars. Anyway, so this is the Bookmap platform details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Let's go over the risk disclaimer. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so let's, since we only have about 20 minutes here, I just covered all of the areas here of subscribing to Bookmap, defining Bookmap, how to connect Bookmap on the website, but I'll just briefly go through it for those of you who are new, and we'll just come down to connectivity and stop right here. So there's 3 different markets that Bookmap connects to: digital currencies, futures markets, and U.S. equities. Now, the data feed for the digital currencies is to the GDAX exchange, and that is free. Okay? But connectivity to futures markets and U.S. equities, you will need to provide the data. Okay, so these are the different data providers, as you can see, and you also have the option to connect to the API through Ninja, TT, and Interactive Brokers. All right, so the subscription packages here, you can subscribe yearly or monthly, and there's digital versions and global versions. So that digital version, the data is free, okay? But you can see this, the Bookmap digital version here is free as well. It's a live market, and you can download it right now. And the this market is always open, so you always get something to look at in terms of a live market, but you get limited support and basic education. Now, the Digital Plus version, you get up to 20 different digital currencies instead of just 1. And you also have the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart into your GDAX account, and you get the advanced education. Okay, global version here is allows the capability to connect to the futures markets and the U.S. equities. And that's the difference between that and Digital Plus. You will need to provide that data, though, for futures and equities. Okay, and the Global Plus version has a host of add-on indicators here. In particular, you guys might be interested in, let me know if you want to see a bit more about the iceberg detector. We just updated that, and we have a new iceberg detector. Okay, so there's actually 2 right now. Anyway, so that's how to connect Bookmap, the different ways of subscribing here, and then just defining what Bookmap is. We're a software trading platform. Okay, we're not a data provider, nor are we a broker. All right, Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at bookmap_pro, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel here. Okay. Just look up Bookmap and you'll find the channel. All right, well, let's take a look here into the markets. Oh yeah, I want to let you guys know about the on Thursday. Let's see, 1:30 Eastern time. Okay, there is a equities webinar. Okay, you might be interested in that. So let me put the link in here for you. Okay, look in the chat box there, and there's the link for the U.S. equities and for the DX feed. All right. Okay, well, let's jump into Bookmap and take a look and see what's going on here. Okay, we're going to define the interface here so you guys understand what you're looking at in Bookmap. We're looking at the NASDAQ E-mini here. These numbers are the new, this is the new iceberg detector. So actually I'm going to take off basically everything on this Bookmap chart, and we're going to define each element as we add it, because there's really only 3 elements here on this chart. Although this may look like it's pretty confusing, or there's just like a lot of data here, it's really straightforward and a very objective view of the marketplace. Okay, so we have some other indicators like a CVD down here. I'm going to close that up. I'm also going to close the point of control indicator we have, and our VWAP, okay, and our iceberg detector here. Okay, these three elements on the Bookmap chart that you see here, okay, one is best bid and offer, okay, current and historical. Nice breakout, by the way. The second is the volume dots here, okay, the volume that traded on that historical best bid and offer. The third element is the heat map. Okay, now the heat map is probably something unique or new and maybe a bit confusing. It's really very straightforward, as mentioned. All it is a history of your dome. Okay, so if we zoom in here and we look at the dome, everything to the right of this vertical white line here is the current market. Everything to the left is historical. So if we look at the dome here, you see the best bid and offer here in this window, and this heat map, and then you see the price ladder here, and then you see the depth of market here in the COB column, current order book. This is the depth of market on the offer, and then down below, price is the bid. These are traders lined up providing liquidity. Now you see these numbers are constantly changing. They're adding and pulling liquidity. Okay, all we've done in the heat map is we've taken those numeric values and transformed them in the heat map. Okay, so when the numbers change, the heat map changes, right? It's reflected in this window here. Okay, so the scale of the heat map, red is or orange is very high liquidity, then yellow, then white, then blue, and then black is very low liquidity. The interesting part here is when we take this liquidity, okay, in the current market, and then we transpose that on the chart historically. So these striations here in the heat map, that's the adding and pulling of liquidity. Okay? So now you know where they're bidding. Okay? You also know where the majority of the players are offering. Okay? So very high liquidity, 100 lots up here at 71.90. Looking pretty good. That'll test into this here. Pretty strong move so far. And there we go. There's the move up into it. And let's start to look at this, because a lot of traders will look at these areas here and say, well, I don't really look at the dome because looking at the dome, it's all fake liquidity, or they don't have the intent to trade. And here we can demonstrate that's not true. They trade right into this area here, and they trade through it. Okay, and they trade right into this area here, and this is what it looks like. Okay, when they stay in the book, and those sellers are met with the aggressive buyers. Okay, so the aggressive buyers here, this is the green dot, right? Traded right into that high liquidity. And then you can see here, this red line is the best offer. The green line is the best bid. Okay, so that's it. Those are the three elements. Some of the advantages, there's such simple and straightforward stuff, but the advantages here that you get due to the visualization and display here. Looks like 7200's on the agenda here. Let's see if we can get up there, but we'll probably find some sellers here shortly. Anyway, let's see here. Let's just start off, and I'm going to place a candlestick chart on here, okay? And we're going to take off all of the other elements here. And we're just going to look at this 5-minute candlestick chart here. Okay? Here's our breakout above this range. Again, let's see if we accept above this range, and let's see if we test into 7200. Anyway, now you can see very simple chart here, candlestick, but some problems here. Number one, you don't know where the volume traded. You have no clue. Number two is you don't know where they're bidding and offering. Okay, and number three is the aggregated period here. Okay, well, what happened within the 5-minute period? You have no idea, okay, because it's all aggregated together. So we combat that and overcome it by just showing the historical best bid and offer. Okay, and this allows us two things. Number one is to see the speed of moves. Okay, like this move right here. Very, very quick to the upside and then very, very quick right back down. Okay, and we're also able to see microstructural areas. Okay, and what do I mean by microstructure? Let's zoom into that little area here. Okay. And this is what I mean. Here's the quick move down, and then this little structural area here, some consolidation. Okay, and then we see a breakout of that little consolidated range right up into where it broke from before to the downside. Okay, you can even see little heads and shoulders and stuff like that in here, but it gives a lot of insight here. Okay, especially once we turn on the volume, and you'll see if price is accepting, rejecting, and why. Okay, and let's just do that. Let's turn on the volume dots, and here we go. Okay, so we have a lot of buyers here lifting that offer. Okay, a lot of trading up here, and then the sellers come in and they bring it down below the swing here. Okay, and then you can see more sellers here in this little area here, and this little pocket here as well. Okay, buyers come right back in, right to where it dropped from though, in this little consolidated area. And we just go sideways for a bit, and then we find some buyers here. Okay? And the buyers lift the offer back up into where there were sellers previously up here. Okay? And we kind of go sideways for a bit here. It looks like the bulls try a couple more times here, but they're not able to make a higher high. And then we rotate lower and find a nice cluster of some selling and buying here, but the sellers win the battle. Okay, and push it back down, and the buyers take it right back up. So a lot of back and forth in that little area. But ultimately, look at all the selling here. Okay? And they won that battle down into just past 1030 here, this 71.57 level. Okay, and then we start to find buyers down there. Okay, they start to scoop it up, and we see the strong move here to the upside. Anyway, those are the three elements here that we're looking at, and I'm just going to zoom in so you have a better understanding of just how straightforward these elements are. Okay? So we're just looking at two of them right now, the volume and the best bid and offer. Okay, so the you can see the green dot here. We have this is a graphical representation as well. It's for a volume of 1. And then this one is as well here. So maybe not the best example. So let's zoom out and find something a little bit bigger. Okay, and so note the bigger dot here, and we hover over it, and it says for volume of 4. Okay? But we don't aggregate the data, just graphically we do. Every single market event is recorded, okay, and plotted. So let's zoom in here, and you can see precisely what happened here. So one lot traded 4 times. Okay? We're down at microsecond level here. Okay? So we can go down to nanosecond level. But look at billions of seconds. So everything is recorded from the data provider. And you can get the numeric values and very precise time here as well in these small areas. Okay. We came from that HFT environment, but most of us though don't trade HFT. Okay, so as I zoom back out, we make a bigger dot so you guys understand what you're looking at. Okay, and you get that graphical representation here. And then you can see one of these dots here has both buying and selling in it. Well, there's just a flurry of activity that happened really quickly, and we have to give you the overall delta and shape of that volume. Okay, so those are those two elements, and then we can put on the heat map. And we can take off the candlesticks. Okay, here we go. And so now we have a complete picture here of a very objective view of the market. Okay. We can see the speed of the moves. We can see who's in control with the volume. You can see precisely where it traded. But now you can also see where they're bidding and offering and if they traded or not. Okay. So we went over that area where it was real liquidity. They stayed in the book. Okay. And then we can look at some of these other areas here. Look at the sweep of this book here. This is actually part 1 of our educational course, which you guys might want to check out. It is available to you. Okay. In fact, let me show you this here on Twitter. I just saw the tweet this morning. Here is part 1 of our Bookmap educational course. Okay, so we're offering that for free. Okay, usually it's only for subscribers, but we'll give you access to that first one, and this will be really beneficial because you'll understand what we start to get at. Like, this is important to understand, that this is what a book sweep looks like. And now there's some latency here between the quotes data and trade data. Okay, but anyway, you can see precisely how these markets work. How quick, strong moves like this, there was no selling in here whatsoever. The first sell is right here, this little red dot. Okay, and it's funny too, because if you see all of this volume, very, very high volume, okay, take the market up. And all it takes is, you can see the spread widens out tremendously here. Okay? And all it takes is just one person to sell, and they'll bring price right back down. Now, the bid came back up here, but understanding this kind of concept here leads to a bigger setup, okay, that we look at all the time. And it's important to understand that. This is a low volume. This is a good example of a low volume pullback. Okay? We know who's in control, and we're looking to get in at a cheaper price. And here it is at this area here. Okay? Anyway, yeah, watch that. To go to our Twitter and look up that or watch that part 1 of our educational course. I think you'll find it really helpful. All right, so yeah, understanding those areas, if they pulled or if they added as well. Okay, we come down into these areas down here, and yeah, they're trading. Okay, it's people are buying here. Only 12 contracts traded at this price level here, but you'll see the difference, the distinction when they're pulling liquidity. Okay, like these areas here, they're pulling liquidity. Okay, they were in here earlier, and then when price started to come up, they started to pull. They weren't interested. Okay, but these guys stayed in the book. All right, so now we understand where the buyers and sellers are meeting, and we understand how they're bidding and offering in this market as well. Okay, and that gives a lot of insight. Okay, so for example, this is one of the concepts we go through. Here they are on the offer at this price level, and look how they flipped over to the bid now. Okay? And let's just add that together with some of the microstructure concepts that we go through as well. Here's a structural area. Now this isn't micro at all, but here's a structural area. Okay? We break out of it, we come back up and test the high up here. Okay? And now we're accepting in this range up here. Okay? That breaks as well. Here's another little structural element and another one up here. Okay? And right now, looks like we weren't able to find enough buyers to take it up. And look at this, is a lot of good stuff going on here. 7,200, the figure spikes up above it like this, and we find more sellers here. And not enough buyers. Okay, we're coming right back down to the bottom of this range here. We'll probably find some people cover and some people buy. It looks like we already have that happen. We already have this kind of retracement here, and we're probably going to find more sellers initiate here. And we just did. Okay, and they just pulled it down here. Okay, now let's see if they can. Let's see if they come back up here. Maybe a pull back to around this area here, and then they'll start to hit the bid once again. And target is 93. Anyway, that's just some of the basics here, and this is the kind of analysis we do in a lot more detail in the advanced order flow webinars. So if you guys are subscribed, we'll see you over there, and don't forget here the U.S. equities. Let me show you that again here. and I'll put the link in as well. Yeah, here you go. So this will be Thursday, June 21st at 1:30 p.m. Okay, so usually do it at 1, but this time we'll have to do it at 1:30. All right, there you go, and we'll see you either on Thursday or we'll see you in the next webinar. Thanks.